Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Crimi-Trent, and today's painting, super simple, really pretty and elegant winter landscape. I show you how I do this. It's very simple, and I give you a bunch of ideas to do with this. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorials are up. Also, check out my Patreon on Thursdays. I have exclusive tutorials there for Patreon members in the mid-tier and up, and exclusive download traceables that go with it. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I'll go over my supplies. I have a piece of 6-inch by 9-inch Arches 100% cotton cold pressed paper. I always put my supplies in the description box so you guys know where to look for them. I do my circle. I actually use a protractor. If I remember these things, you know, you can make the circles as big as small you want. Make, you know, they're good to have. I haven't used it in a long time to do my circle, but you could just use a plate or whatever you have that would work. And then I did a masking fluid outside the circle. If you don't have masking fluid, you could use tape, but you'd have to cut out, make sure you have to cut out the shape from the tape using it as a stencil, either with an X-Acto blade or something. Go over my paints that I use, and I'm basically using blues today and white gouache, you know, and to achieve this really simple but cute winter design. So once you get to your masking fluid down on the paper or on the circle, I mean, you know, you don't have to do a circle either. You can do a square, rectangle, triangle, whatever shape you want. We're going to start doing some layering of colors here. So we're going to start with I have just drawn just two little mounds here, one here and one here. And we're going to work on putting some pale blue colors in there. I'm just going to grab whatever brush works for me. This is just a Grumbacher 10 Golden Edge. This is like a Prussian blue, but I also have this really pretty Verdier blue from Holbein. So over here it's like a little periwinkle. So I want this really pale, and it might be so bright. See how bright that is? I might add a little blackish. I have like all these colors that are dried over here that I just kind of like love. Someone had asked me, do I ever use dried colors? I'm like, of course I do, all the time. From palettes that have just a mix of colors, so I never can really tell you exactly what color that is. But that's the beauty of having a palette, this watercolor that dries up. You can reactivate it. I like it right out of the tube too. Same thing with gouache. You can reactivate gouache. So I'm testing my paper towel to see if I like the color, or if you have some scrap. I have some scrap over here. Do I like the color? Do I want it? Put it down on the paper here like that. Test it out. I think it looks pretty good. So I'm going to put this really pale blue. Get some more water. It's not pale enough. On the outside here on this mound. Wait till that dries before you can go into the next one. Just pale, very pale blue color. This is similar to kind of like the winter one I did with the reindeer, but this is just simpler. It could be great for a card, really easy and fast to do. So we'll do that little color tone there, let that dry, and then come back. Okay, once that's dry, we can go back in. You can maybe even make it a little darker, or a little lighter, whatever you want to do. Just a tad bit. See how this looks. If you didn't like, if that looks too light, you can go back over this one, which I'm going to do with the same color. And I'll get it a little bit darker than the front, because I wanted them to have different tones. So then once that's done, we're going to dry that and come back. Okay, once that's dry, we're going to work the sky. And I want the sky to be really kind of dark, maybe a gradation of it. So we're going to mix the paint first before we start doing anything else. I've got this blue here. It's some intense Prussian blue here. It's pretty bright, but I want to add some black to that. Get a deeper color here. You want a good amount of paint. I'm going to do wet on wet with this one. I'm painting, this is from a tin I have. I have so many palettes. They're all over my studio. My studio is a complete mess. And I'm getting my video kind of late because I got stuck up watching that Queen's Gambit show on Netflix and I couldn't stop. I couldn't get through the first part of it. The first episode was really bugging me. If you haven't seen it, you know, like the children, they're taking tranquilizers and it just... I have a problem when kids are getting exploited, whatever. So it was hard for me to watch. But I pushed myself through it and I got to the second episode and it was great. And I'm working on the rest of them now. Alright, so I'm going to keep mixing this color. I think I want a little more like an ultramarine color in there, so I'm throwing in some magenta and it's going to give me that tone that I'm looking for. Whatever blue that you want. Don't have to follow my blue. Yeah, I'm getting there. Okay, I think I got it. So, clean up your brush because we want to just put water down. So we're going to wet the area that is not painted. Just like so. My brush still has a little blue tinge to it, but that's okay because it's going to be much darker, so it's not a problem for me. Just going to wet that whole part of the circle that has not been wet before. We've gone where no man has gone. Okay, just going to fill it all in. Get it pretty damp. You can see the sheen. Make sure it's all wet. You kind of lift it up and move it around. Just make sure you can see that there's like a sheen to it to know that it's wet. Okay. Now we're going to flood in our color. You can lift it up and it will flood down for you just like that. See, it's moving down. I kind of want to do that. I want it really dark on the top. I'm going to have to get more concentrated color now. And less so on the bottom. And it's going to naturally do that, moving it down. See, it's going right into the water. You can kind of maneuver it a little bit. Take your clean brush, kind of just push that paint a little bit. It should go down. And move it around if you want to. It's not doing its job. You can just kind of take your brush and manipulate it. Tell it, do its job. Why do I have to do your job for you? Oh, how did that get there? Just push it around. Brush. And go back up here. I'm going to go add some color on the side here. I want some really deep color on top. Go in full concentration here. Really dark. Like darker than dark. As you would say here, rather the accents we have. Dark. It's a dark, dark night. Just incorporating, just add a little more water with the color. Blend down. So you get that achieving result. See how it's kind of puddling just where the water ends? It's not going into the rest of it. It's only going where the water will let it go. It didn't quite go in here, so I'm just going to maneuver, take up some of that water that's kind of left down here. Kind of puddling up there. And just kind of manipulate a little bit with our brush so it blends down again. And just kind of lift up that paint that's puddling at the bottom there. So you get this cool ombre. I want to fill it in more. So we're going to let that dry also. I'm going to fill this in just a little bit on the edge here. I don't want the edge to be white, blue. I'm going to let this dry and we're going to come back and play with our gouache. That's right. The white gouache is coming out today, guys. And this is so easy. don't tell me if you're beginner can't do this. You can paint a little color here, a little color here, and wash that color in. I'm telling you the reason why, if it's not working for you, the wet on wet and the nice bleed like this, is because you're not using good quality paper. So save the good quality paper for things like this. Don't use it on things that you don't need to use it on. If you're just doing a cute little illustration, I have a couple on my YouTube channel. Makes no sense to do that. But something like this, you're gonna need it. So I'm gonna let this dry and come back. Now, this dried, and see how it just seemed like, maybe because I was using the hairdryer, kind of speeding the process, it dried a little lighter than I wanted to. So now I'm gonna go and do another pass of the color. You know, just gonna take the water, go over it again. I really want it darker. If you want to keep it that way, that's fine. I'm gonna get another pass of this dark color. Another thing that works too, you can use a little spray bottle. I have one over here. Of course, there's no, oh, here it is. Don't use too much, and then it will bleed right down into the color. If you don't want to use the paintbrush. But I really wanted that sky darker than it was. It just dried so light. I wanted it really dark, so I'm going to use more concentrated color. It just was not cooperating. And I don't know why it didn't want to cooperate with me. I mean, come on. I'm not a bad person. So I'm going to keep tilting it, trying to blend it down here. I'm going to lift up some of this paint that puddled. But I wanted it much darker than it dried. So you can layer it once again. So I'm going to let this dry. And I think I've gotten the depth of the color that I wanted, much darker. I can still lift up a little more of this color. I really wanted it dark on top. And I think I've achieved that now. It was drying, it was way too light. Sometimes if you hairdryer, it comes a little bit lighter. If you just let it sit, it comes a little darker. So I might just let it sit and then come back. Okay, once that's dry, I'm going to take a little brush. I have this Princeton number 4, long round, has a really small, skinny little tip, a little belly. I'm not going to really I don't really need a belly. I'm going to grab the white gouache, and again, you want to use some water, so it's kind of like wasabi. If you know what wasabi is, it's that mustard that goes at sushi. Not too much water, otherwise it won't be a pig. Just dab it on my towel, get the excess water off the edge. And we're going to just paint these little white trees. Small ones in the back and bigger ones in the front. So we're going to just do like a little tree here. And start by making your big branches. And then go in and put in the smaller ones. As the easiest way to do these kind of trees is just line up, then you like these V's, and then add some more V's. Now we're going to do some bigger ones. I'm going to have a big one in the front. It's going to come in front of the whole entire thing. That's why you want something like this kind of brush, because you can do both things. You can push that big trunk like so. And I'm just going to kind of curve it. Get skinnier as you go out. I'm just making this really cool branches. And of course they get tinier and tinier as they go out. Really skinny. Just like we do with the Halloween trees. Really skinny. That's why I like this brush, because it has that really nice point. Like the Princeton long 8. This is the long 4. The difference being this is much smaller. So you're going to get a much skinnier point. I'm just going to keep painting out little branches. Yeah, I like how it, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I see how I tilted up the tree? I kind of like how it moves like that. Just tilted the old tree and just keep putting in all these little tiny branches coming off the tree. Just looks really dainty and elegant. Got another one up here. So I liked how it kind of swooped. I just kind of organically did that. I didn't have that plan. I just planned to just make some trees. That's why sometimes not having a plan is good. And I'm going to put another one here, I think. Doing the same more thing, now that I like the way that curved. You can make yours not curve if you don't want to. You can curve if you want to. Anybody else an 80s brat like me? You know what that song is? So just putting these really skinny branches in here. See how easy this design is to do? And it's just pretty and elegant. And this works for any winter holiday. If you have friends who celebrate Hanukkah, this is nice, or Christmas. I don't know if it would work for Kwanzaa, but it's still just a nice holiday card, period. I was just thinking of you while you're in the snowy field. Just keep putting in all these little dainty branches. Like that. So simple. And then the background, you can add a couple more trees. On these white trees in the front, you could add, I'm not going to do it because I want to keep it all blues and whites. Or on the ground, you could add a red cardinal, a red fox, a snowman. So I'm just going to keep my trees. I want this design to just be blue and white. And just little teeny trees back here. Just a couple of colors. Very monochromatic. Now you could put these small ones in the background first, but I wanted to place my big trees and to see if I want how many little trees I want in the background. I don't want too many. I think I'm maybe going overboard right now. I'm gonna have to stop myself. And then from here, you could add snow or snowflakes. I might add like these really, you can add really decorative snowflakes coming from the top, like bigger ones. Okay, just drying out. Or you don't have to do that, you can just add snow itself. So I'm going to add just dots of snow. And I kind of want to just gather it all up where the trees are. And then get tinier as you're going down. So a lot of concentration, of the little dots up top. It's kind of looking like a mess right now, but it will make sense. See how I'm doing all these little tiny dots? They kind of gathered way up top. And then now, I just do some sporadic snow coming down the rest of the painting. Oh, I just have this really cool look to it. And then you can vary it, like I said, you vary it from a round shape, square, triangle, whatever, rectangle. But having, you can see better if you look far away. A lot of the dots kind of concentrated on top. It's kind of giving it more of an ombre feel. So you don't have to do that. Like, you saw how I did the trees, and I kind of liked the way the trees looked without adding the dots, but I had this intention to do this, so I'm going to see how I want to finish what I had in my brain before I say no. And you can continue the snow way down in here. You might not see it as much because it's so much lighter, but you'll still see it. And then you're going to want to wait till everything dries before you lift up that rubber cement. All right, so we're going to let it all dry and then lift it up. Oops. Now we're going to grab the rubber cement pickup. I have, by the way, I have the link to this and the masking fluid on my description box. I use this cheap PBO drawing gum. I use a cheap brush to paint it down with. These things are like, this is like $4 for this thing. And you know, you don't have to have it, but it's so much easier than trying to lift it up yourself with something else like tape. It just takes it up so much easier. So and then when it gathers like this, you just pull it off. I used to use these in college, so. And look at that. I just noticed I got paint all up here. Don't do what I did. What a buffoon. I don't know how that happened, but it did. So there's paint all up in here. That's okay. You get the idea. You'll be much more careful than me. And look how pretty that is. I love it. You could add, you know, other elements of blue down in here. You could have turned this whole entire circle into an ornament hanging with just a little string. You know what I mean? It'd be really perfect. There's so many things you can do with it. You know, or it's a snow globe. Think about all these different things. So I hope you guys enjoy this. It's a really quick one, but really simple. Just think, you know, think simple sometimes. Simplicity is great. Like I said, you got a little bird in here, you know, little animal. I didn't do that, but you could do that. So I hope you guys enjoy this quick little tutorial. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. I'll have exclusive tutorials over there on Thursdays. So tomorrow, obviously, will be a new one. Today's Wednesday. And I have traceables to go with that. So that's 4 exclusive tutorials monthly with traceables, as well as ad-free videos from YouTube. I'm putting my ad-free videos there for my Patreons who are mid-tier and up. And then if you're a higher Patreon member, each month I give you a free download that I create that you can print on canvas or something for your personal use, not commercial use, but people are enjoying that, which I thought was a nice alternative. I never give downloads, period. I mean, I have one on Etsy, and so there's a real treat. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know when tutorials are up, and take care and have a fantastic day. Just keep on painting.